Now, the Judicial Conduct Tribunal probing sexual harassment allegations against top judge, Eastern Cape Judge President Selby Mbenenge continues with the Judges Secretary Andiswa Mengo on the stand. Mengo has gone through the alleged in-person conduct in the top judge's chambers. Now, let's cross to SABC News reporter Canny Maphanga, who was on this beat for us. Canny, interesting, emotional day of testimony yesterday. Talk us through what transpired.
Well, good morning to you, Sakina, and to the viewers at home. Day 7 of the first ever sexual harassment probe in South Africa's judiciary continues with the Judges Secretary, that is Andiswa Mengo, continuing with her testimony on the stand of the alleged sexual harassment that she contends she experienced allegedly at the hands of the Eastern Cape Judge President Selby Mbenenge. Now, you may see we've been here for at least 7 days, and of course last week when we went through the alleged sexual harassment between the period of June 2021 to November 2022 in the form of in-person and electronic communication. It took the tribunal quite long to get between the messages of June and July 2021. We took a week to comb through those WhatsApp messages in front of the tribunal. However, yesterday we saw that the messages moved quite quickly up until February, I think it was February 2022, that the witness was going on explaining what the exchanges were between the pair, and of course led us to that bombshell allegation, if found to be true, could be quite damning against the judge president of the alleged in-person interaction that took place between the pair in November of 2022. Now, what the evidence leader has tried to illustrate to the tribunal as to explain why the messages were quite repetitive and unrelenting in June and July of 2021. Then, of course, we see a large period where the messages are quite spaced out and the interactions can be silent for a month before we see communication proceed again. Of course, Mengo testified that the reason behind this kind of change in pattern and messaging, allegedly from the judge president to her, is that she states that the messages were allegedly deleted by the judge president. She speaks of that WhatsApp option where you can delete messages for all, which would mean that the messages wouldn't exist on his side. Now, what we've heard before the tribunal, that there is an expert bundle that is before the tribunal, that is the messages that would have been retrieved by an expert from her phone. And then, of course, there is the original screenshots that would have been attached to the January 2023 complaint. Of course, there's more messages in the January 2023 complaint versus what we're seeing today. So that is the explanation we're given behind the gap or seemingly quietening down or change in pattern of the messages towards the end of that period where she contends that there was alleged sexual harassment. Then, of course, she moves to the week of the 14th of November 2022. Where she alleges that the judge president called her to his chambers and then made a remark or a request of a sexually explicit nature. So she says that when she arrived to his chambers, he made a remark, quote unquote, an alleged remark, which stated, she testified that it stated that he spoke of the effect that she had on him. And she alleges that while he remarked this remark, that he was gesturing towards the front of his pants. She spoke of an alleged bulge that was there. And then, of course, she testified that he then requested for her to perform oral sex in his chambers. Of course, she testifies then that in shock, she left that particular room, the chambers rather, and then gave information to a fellow colleague regarding what had taken place. We then hear that there was a round table that was supposed to take place but didn't take place. And when that failed, we also heard that she then went to WhatsApp to expose the alleged exchanges. And then that led to the official January 2023 complaint that we see before the tribunal today. Of course, we left off at that part yesterday when she was discussing how we've arrived at the Office of the Chief Justice, where the complaint was officially formalized in December, I think, of 2021. Yes, before or 2022 rather, before the January 2023 complaint became formal. And then, of course, we expect when Mengo gets on the stand later at 9:30 a.m. this morning, she'll continue where she left off yesterday, where she explains how this official complaint was brought before the Office of the Chief Justice. Over to you in studio.
Well, thank you so much, Canny Maphanga, for that comprehensive summary of what transpired at the tribunal.